The ticket. The Thunder are going to the finals. They beat Minnesota last night. There was a little frustration for me this morning reading the quotes from Anthony Edwards post-game. And it's not what he said. What he did say was he was asked how he felt about it. And he said that he was excited. This is like, how do you feel after this loss? He said, I'm excited. I'm 23. I have the opportunity to continue to do this over and over again. But he kind of said it. We would put it up, but then you two would take it down because we're monetized and it would be a whole deal. But he kind of said it, hey, look, I'm excited. Sort of like, get out of here. And he did go on to say, nobody's going to work harder than me this offseason. And he also mentioned that Mike Conley, obviously a veteran, like 18-year veteran, and he said, hey, I'm sorry for guys like Mike, right, and my teammates. But it was kind of flippant the way he said it, and it's one of those deals that people sink their teeth into this morning, which is complete rubbish, okay? Now, this is a 23-year-old kid. By the way, like rough upbringing. We just talked about that Baylor tragedy. Anthony Edwards, I think his mother and his grandmother died like 18 months apart when he was a young man. So he's a calloused individual, and certainly – with a background like that and his ability to persevere through it, probably has some real perspective on what losing the Western Conference Finals is like as compared to real life. The dude is an absolute dog, and he has this thing about him, right? It's called grit. And I, with the opportunity and being as fortunate as I am to work college basketball games for ESPN with his college coach, Tom Crean, who is one of the best dudes in the world, but is also extremely transparent and honest. And, I dug into Coach Crean a little bit because I'm not like anything negative, but hey, what's Anthony Edwards really like? And, look no further than, this is something, I think I wrote it down here. This is what Coach Crean tweeted this after last night's game. And this was in response to the quote that Ann Edwards made following the game that I just talked about. He said, Anthony is not wired to say he's hurting or down or devastated. He doesn't talk that way. I promise you that he's hurting for people like Mike Conley and players he goes to battle with. He is built different as a teammate too. To expand on that, when I worked one game with Coach Crean when we were at North Texas, and Grant McCaslin's the head coach. This is 2-3 years ago. And Coach McCaslin's like, hey, can you talk to the team after shoot-around? And Coach Crean just goes in about Anthony Edwards. Remember, Tom Crean recruited him to Georgia, where Anthony Edwards starred and then was picked obviously so high in the draft. But he talked to these kids and he said, when I was at Georgia coaching Anthony Edwards, after a game, I would be in my office watching film and I would hear the ball bouncing, right? And it was Anthony Edwards. Off season, right? The one guy you leave the light on for that's in the weight room all the time and working his ass off is Anthony Edwards. The guy who's getting shots up before practice, right? Before a game, early into the arena is Anthony Edwards. That's the type of player we're talking about. That is what matters. Not some flippant response he made to the media after a loss. I love how we put these guys out there and we expect them to put it so eloquently like War and Peace, right? After their heart gets ripped out in the Western Conference Finals, okay, when you know the whole world is watching and judging you, especially now, and you say, okay, well, if he knows the whole world is watching, why doesn't he watch what he says and do it the right way, right? Like maybe like MJ or Larry Bird, because that's not who the guy is. And by the way, this is the biggest piece of BS I think we have going for us today in media that covers these guys. Oh, we want you to be yourself, right? Please be yourself, be transparent, show us who you are. And the moment a guy does, like Anthony Edwards postgame, we get pissed off. We get pissed. And then, furthermore, to try to call him on the carpet, right, like he didn't deliver. So Anthony Edwards is 23 years old, okay? And he, without question, needs help. And let me be the guy. I was listening to Michael Wilbon this morning, one of my heroes, and let me jump on his back and be the old guy. Wilbon, way older than me. but I love him. And, I like to think I have the historic range, right? Michael Jordan lost to the Detroit Pistons 3 times in the playoffs, okay? 3 straight times. 5 games, 6 games, and then 7 games, okay? Doug Collins lost his job. Great coach, great basketball mind, but they couldn't get over the hump. Doug Collins is a casualty. They bring in Phil Jackson, Tex Winter. They run the triangle, okay? And guess what? They didn't win either with them. Eventually, they got there when Jordan got the help he needed, the coaching he needed, and obviously for him, the experience that he needed. By the time MJ won a title, he was 28. I was writing it down this morning, okay? Remember, Anthony Edwards is 23. Larry Bird's first title, he was 25, 26 years old. Isaiah Thomas's first title, 28 years old. Kobe, yeah, he was 23 too. But guess what? He had Shaquille O'Neal with him. And Magic Johnson, he was 21. I want to be fair and span the globe. But guess what? Magic had Kareem, right? I mean, so look, what are we talking about here? And maybe I'm preaching to the choir, to some of you who are watching right now, but the overreaction to Anthony Edwards in the wake of that loss last night, and like, it makes me it makes my stomach turn as to where we are right now, and the way that we cover athletes. It's like, and having done PR, right, in the NBA, I know what it's like to after a playoff loss, and I'm not saying I was the main, PR guy, or I'm like Raymond Ritter, who's with the Warriors, who's like an all-time legend. But I was in the room. Hey, Pete, we need you to go get Andre Iguodala. Bring him out to the podium. We just lost our series to the Orlando Magic or the Detroit Pistons. Like, those guys don't want to go out there and talk. That's the last thing they want to do. But they do it. And once in a while, they're going to tell you how they're feeling. God forbid. So then you can judge him and sit around and say, oh, he's not ready. He doesn't have the response that we want, right? He's just not saying what you want to hear. And guess what? He's going to work his ass off. Like I told you, the substance piece that Tom Crean told me, and he shared with that UNT basketball team, right, when he was asked to speak, that nobody is more of a dog than Anthony Edwards. The dude needs help. Right? He needs help, and he'll probably get it, and this will all probably be fine. But if you can't tell, I've got a bug up my ass about this, and I appreciate you guys being a place where I can come and